Hey guys, what's going on, dudes? It is David here. We're back with another video. Now, in this video, guys, we all have our favorite driver when it comes to NASCAR. Some of us, our favorite driver was Jimmie Johnson. Some of us, our favorite driver was Tony Stewart. Some of us, our favorite driver was Carl Edwards. But honestly, when it came to me, my favorite driver of all time, and will always be my favorite driver, will be the number 24 of Jeff Gordon. Now, I started watching NASCAR in about 2005, 2006, when I was about 6 to 7 years old. And I don't actually remember why I started NASCAR. I think it was either one of two things. It had to do with Looney Tunes Back in Action, which Jeff Gordon was actually in, or my dad was watching Fox and the Daytona 500 was on. I think it actually was Looney Tunes Back in Action. That's played up. That's actually how I started watching NASCAR. And then I watched the 2006 Daytona 500 as my first official NASCAR race that I watched as a fan of the sport. And of course, the winner of that 2006 Daytona 500 was Jimmie Johnson. Now, Jimmie Johnson, throughout his years, obviously he's a 7-time champion, but we really consider this, during the playoffs, during the actual NASCAR playoffs, is Jimmie Johnson really a 7-time champion without these playoffs? No, he isn't. Because Jeff Gordon is in fact the 7-time champion without the playoffs. 2007, 2009. Those two seasons right there. And even, I think it was 2014. Those seasons right there are a big part of the reason why Jeff Gordon would have been a 7-time champion. And Jeff Gordon would have been rightfully considered to be one of the greatest of all times. In my honest opinion, and nobody can change this for me, Jeff Gordon is the greatest driver of all time. Jeff Gordon is no doubt about it, the greatest driver of all time. And there's nobody on this earth that'll be able to change my mind from Jeff Gordon being the greatest driver of all time. Y'all can talk about Dale Earnhardt. Y'all can talk about Richard Petty. But when Dale Earnhardt was racing against Jeff Gordon, during Jeff Gordon's early days, Jeff Gordon was beating Dale Earnhardt. So I really don't see a problem with that. Now, when it comes to Jimmie Johnson, Jeff Gordon on his best day is good at a short track. We all know that. Jeff Gordon's hella good at the road course. Jeff Gordon's very good on the intermediates. The only one I'd probably say is his problem, and he was still good at this, was the super speedways like Talladega and Daytona. You guys gotta remember, before I think it was 2000, I think the year 2007 was the last time between 2000 and 2007 is when Jeff Gordon was winning a lot of races at Daytona and Talladega. Since then, Jeff Gordon's last Daytona 500 win came in the 2005 Daytona 500, and I think his last Talladega win actually came in 2007 when he won in the car of tomorrow, beating Jimmie Johnson at that. But don't get it twisted. On a road course, on a short track, on an intermediate, or on a super speedway like Daytona or Talladega, Jeff Gordon can win on any good day. The only track I actually worried about when it came to Jeff Gordon was obviously going to be the super speedway tracks, because those tracks like Daytona and Talladega are unpredictable. You don't really know what's going to happen with these type of races. So besides that, if Jeff Gordon had a good car, Jeff Gordon could drive that car to the best of his capabilities and pull off a win and yet win. That's the reason why he has 93 wins. And yes, I thought Jimmie Johnson was actually going to catch Jeff Gordon and pass his 93 wins, but Jimmie Johnson ended up not winning for the final 3 years of his career. I mean, if we look at the final 3 years of Jeff Gordon's career, which was 2015, 2014, and 2013, Jeff Gordon won he won one race in 2015, so that's already better than Jimmie Johnson. He actually won a race in the final year of his career. 2014, he won 3 races, and I think in 2013, I think Jeff Gordon won at least 2 races in the NASCAR Cup Series career. So if you guys gotta think about that, that's 6 races in the final 3 years of his career compared to Jimmie Johnson's 0 in the final 3 years of his career, which was 2018, 2019, and of course 2020, as we are now in 2021. And speaking about Jeff Gordon, it has been announced that he will be leaving the Fox Sports broadcast booth and heading to be the technically I'm gonna say vice chairman, but it's really vice president of Hendrick Motorsports. So he's gonna be the right hand man of Rick Hendrick. Ultimately, when Rick Hendrick does step down, Jeff Gordon will eventually take over the mantle for Hendrick Motorsports and become the official owner, deal with a lot of contracts. And I just want to say, the way Jeff Gordon is with Hendrick Motorsports, it was always going to be this, because if you guys do not know this, Jeff Gordon's currently right now the owner of the number 48 car that Alex Bowman drives and the one that Jimmie Johnson was driving. Jeff Gordon is the reason that Jimmie Johnson was in that 48 car, because when Jeff Gordon became an owner for that 48 car, he recommended Jimmie Johnson to Rick Hendrick. They put him in 48 car, put him in Chad Canals, and history was made for Jimmie Johnson and that 48 car. And now Alex Bowman has signed a 2-year deal to stay in that 48 car until 2023, where the sponsorship does run out. So we'll see how Alex Bowman does when it comes to that. But considering the amount of stuff that Jeff Gordon's been a part of when it came to Hendrick Motorsports, I can't really say there's been a bad thing that Jeff Gordon has done while he was with Hendrick Motorsports, because Jeff Gordon has raced respectfully. Of course, there's been some times where he's gotten involved in incidents with Clint Boyer and Brad Keselowski. The Clint Boyer incident, I put that 65-35 more on Jeff Gordon, but it still was kind of like a mixed incident. That Brad Keselowski incident, I look back at it and I was so angry at that, but you gotta realize Jeff Gordon races respectfully. He's like Marvin Truex Jr. And when you continuously get raced with disrespect, it's gonna annoy you and it's gonna drive you to a point where you're gonna want to do something. And that is exactly what happened with Jeff Gordon in those situations. Jeff Gordon was getting raced disrespectfully. He was getting raced properly, and he felt disrespected. So he was like, you know what? I'm not gonna feel disrespected. I'm gonna go race you how you're gonna race me. That's the same way I feel about most drivers in this current situation. I don't like Joey Logano. I will never like Joey Logano. Even if he changes his driving style, I do not like him, because his attitude doesn't put it in a positive manner. Of course, Dale Earnhardt was a guy who can just bump you out of the way, move you out of the way. He was called Intimidator for a reason. But the thing is, he can go back it up. Kyle Busch is, I'd probably say the closest thing to Dale Earnhardt is actually going to be Kyle Busch. Because Kyle Busch can intimidate you, he can put the back bumper to you, but he can also back it up. He just got 100 wins in the Xfinity Series. He has over 50 wins in the Cup Series. This guy can back it up. But enough about Kyle Busch. Jeff Gordon, undoubtedly, is my favorite driver of all time. I did not get to see Jeff Gordon win a championship, unfortunately, because his last championship came in 2001. But funny enough, I've always remembered this. Jeff Gordon in 1998, the year I was born, Jeff Gordon won 13 races, which was a modern era record since Richard Petty's 27 wins. It's still the most in a modern era to this day. 13 wins in 1998, and not only that, he won back-to-back championships from 1997 to 1998. And in the year I was born, the fact that he won 13 races in a year, it was just absolutely amazing to hear that. When I started following Jeff Gordon, I found that out. I was like, oh my god, that's actually kind of funny. And then, of course, his final championship was back in 2001. And since then, I watched Jeff Gordon from 2006 to 2015. Technically 2016, even though 2016 was only part-time. But up until 2015, I watched him win a lot of races, battle for a lot of championships. Of course, 2007, I feel like he really should have won the championship based off the way he was driving. 2014, I think he should have won the championship. And 2015, of course, I went to go see him in his final race. Battle for a championship, ultimately finished 6th place and ended up finishing 3rd in the championship. But no doubt about it, in my mind, Jeff Gordon, to me, will always be the greatest driver, and he will always be my favorite driver of all time. But I want to know your guys' favorite drivers in the comments down below. Who is your favorite driver of all time? Is your favorite driver still driving, or are they currently retired? Were they Tony Stewart, Jimmie Johnson, Matt Kenseth, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, or somebody else? Please let me know in the comments down below. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Please smash the like button. I'll be posting more sports content for you guys to see in the coming days. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notification so you know my videos go live. But anyway, guys, I will see you guys all later. Peace.